I'm Denny Eubanks.
I'm David Eubanks.
And we have 2 children, Braden Eubanks and London Eubanks. Braden is 12. I had to think about how old he was. He's 12 and London is 7. Some of you may know about Braden. I've seen him around in the wheelchair. Braden has a muscle disease called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. He was diagnosed at age 7, and it's been a whirlwind. We first started noticing that something was wrong at age 2. He was meeting all milestones when he was younger, and I noticed at age 2 that he wasn't getting up off the floor like normal kids, and he wasn't running like normal children his age. And so I would ask his pediatrician, and when I asked the pediatrician, oh, he's normal, he just has to catch up. Mind you, he was already in the 90th percentile for his height and weight. So years have progressed, and we're about age 7 now. And he's now been considered ADHD or ADD. So we went in for a checkup for his medication, and I asked his pediatrician at that time to just do some tests and field tests to see if some concerns that I had of, again, him not running and getting up from the floor. So he did. And when we did, he sent us for some x-rays. I wanted to rule out any type of things going on with his hips from the reason why he was getting up off the floor the way he was, and basically wanted to rule out leukemia or any other thing going on. And so about a week later, we had gone in. He had gotten also some blood work done, and he had gone in, and the doctor called me and said that they needed to see us in his office. So we went up there, and that's when our world was shattered. You never expect to know anything like this can happen to you, or your family for that matter. He sat us down in this room all by ourselves and shut the door, and he said, I've already contacted the specialist. Thinking, okay, what kind of specialist? Thinking oncologist, orthopedic, something. He said Braden's blood work came back, and he has some form of muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy. Okay, I knew what that was. You've heard of Jerry's Kids and the MDA telethon, so I knew a little bit about it. I grew up watching that over the years, but didn't know. So I was like, okay, we'll go from there. And we went literally the next few days. It was April 1st, April Fool's Day. We went to the neurologist, and that's where we got our confirmation as far as what his diagnosis was. They told us at first it could either be Duchenne or Becker's. I honestly, they tell you don't Google it. What's the first thing you do is you Google it. So we Googled it, and I prayed and prayed and prayed that it was not going to be Duchenne. Duchenne is the most common, most fatal form of muscular dystrophy, and it affects 1 in every 3,500 boys. There is no cure for this type of disease. They're working on it. They're working on some therapies and things like that, but with the type of deletion that Braden has, he's missing exon 3 through 11, so he is a uncommon deletion in that. So he doesn't qualify for any type of trials or any type of therapies. The only kind that they do recommend for him, and for all boys for that matter, is steroids. We're not putting him on steroids. All it's going to do is it might prolong him to be on his feet for 6 months longer. It may not. It just depends. So each time we go to MDA clinic twice a year where he does a full workup, head to toe. We see neurology, we see pulmonology, we see cardiology, because what a lot of people don't understand is your heart and your lungs, they are muscle. So they're going to fail just as everything else. A lot of these boys with muscular dystrophy or with Duchenne, they don't make it into their 20s. Several have not even made it into their middle teens, just from heart failure, basically, is what that comes from. Also, you know, that they will, and Braden will eventually be in a power chair one day. He will not be able to do much of anything for himself. A lot of the boys can't talk. They have tracheotomies. They can't breathe without having that. It's hard. It's hard, and to see your child knowing that they're probably going to go down that road is very, very tough. When, like I said, when we first found out, it was world shattering, and you know, there's one or two things that we could have done. Yes, we cried, we were angry, we were mad, sad, all the emotions that you can think of. But just one day, you know, we were just like, what are we doing? You know, why? We can't be mad. And this is what God has given us. I know it's cliche. People say it all the time. God only gives you what you can handle, and for whatever reason, He only knows. He's given us this. And with that, you know, we just take it day by day. We hold our heads high. We don't feel sorry for ourselves. We don't feel sorry for Braden, because he is just like any other child at 12 years old. His mind works great, so there's nothing wrong with him other than his muscles, and you know, he's unable to walk and run as you or I can.
Well, like Denny said, you know, it's earth-shattering. You wake up one day and you realize everything's, you know, different. What you expected every day changes, and like she said, I mean, I know for a month straight, I got up every day and I walked in the living room and I laid on the floor and cried like a little baby, you know. But like she said, after a while, you know, I know a lot of you don't know me, but anyone who does know that I'm very simplistic, and that, you know, there's always something that can be done. There's always a fix. You just keep pushing. Well, when that doctor told us there was nothing that could be done, I mean, I got upset and really didn't accept that. But I mean, it is what it is, and like Denny said, it's the cards we were dealt, so we're playing them. And but I just woke up one day and tears just weren't there anymore, and you know, I told myself then, I got to make a decision here. You know, and it was either, am I going to sit here and feel sorry for myself and my son and stop living, or am I just going to take each day as it comes and live to the fullest? And that's what I chose. And then, you know, I mean, Denny had a talk, we both felt the same way, and ever since then, I mean, that's how it's been. You know, Braden's just as normal as anyone else, other than, you know, his physical abilities. But that mind's sharp. He's a normal 12-year-old boy, and he can, you know, he wants to do everything that, you know, most kids, you know, do, but he can't. But, you know, I mean, he finds his joy, you know, where he can. But Braden's just as normal as anybody else. So, you know, when you see him around, you know, don't, you know, we always tell people, everybody's kind of, you know, stays standoffish and almost scared to death of him. And, you know, you're not gonna hurt him, you know, but, you know, he's just as normal as anybody else. The wheelchair's involved. So, you know, just, it's like we tell everybody, it's no big deal. Just, he's normal. So he just can't do most things kids do. So you treat him the same. We would treat him as if, you know, the muscular dystrophy's not even there. You know, I know I do. I mean, we know it's there, but, you know, it's not an everyday conversation. I mean, it is what it is. You know, we deal with it, you know, bottom line.
Sorry. It's tough. Some days, you know, when you're home and he's doing the thing, you know, doing homework and things like that, and you look over and you see him doing those things, and you're like, gosh, he's normal in that aspect. But the moment he gets up, you're like, oh wait, he's not normal in that aspect, in the physical aspect of it. He wants to play with his sister. She is a rambunctious 7-year-old. This is all she's ever known of her brother, her big brother. She does know that his muscles don't work like hers, and we've explained that to her. Now, of course, she obviously doesn't know the extent of his disease yet, just because she's not old enough to understand that. But he gets frustrated. He gets so frustrated and gets mad when he falls. He wants to try to get up, but he can't. I push him, and I know some moms probably think I'm kind of harsh sometimes, because I'm like, okay, Braden, get up. You've got to do this. He's got to do what he can while he can before he loses it all. Because if not, then he's just gonna go downhill from there.
Gotta learn to fight.
That's right. I try to tell him, he wants to use his wheelchair sometimes, or even sometimes he doesn't. The times he doesn't, are times that it's really, I know that he needs it, but he wants to push himself because he doesn't like bringing it to church all the time. He hates bringing it on Wednesday nights when he has to ride that slow elevator up. And, he says, why can't I just do it? And I'm like, Braden, you can, but your energy level goes down real quick when you do things like that. Try to conserve it and use it efficiently. And, going back to his sister, she does try to help him. If he falls, she'll try to pick him up sometimes, and if she can't, she yells for one of us to come and help him. But he falls regularly. Now there are some times that he falls for attention. If he feels like for some reason he's not getting the attention he needs, he does. But 95% of the time it's not because of that. It's because he can't stand. He can just be standing there, and then he will just hit the ground. And you think, what happened? What did you do? And he'll tell you, I just fell. I didn't do anything. And so, it's tough, and the time is coming now to where he is using his chair more and more. And I know that it's coming to the point where he's going to outgrow the one that he has. He is going to need another one, and then as time goes on, medical expenses will increase. He will be going to more specialists and having more equipment and power chairs and BiPAP machines to help him sleep through the night. Thank goodness we're not there yet. He has done great on the sleep studies so far. So as far as treatment-wise, he did have a machine that we had gone to Texas to get right after we found out about. A mom reached out to me. Her son has had DMD, who Luke has now passed. She found out about this doctor in Corpus Christi, and I thought she was going on vacation because they were packing and everything, and I messaged her and said, hey, what's going on? Where are you guys going? And she told me about this great doctor. He was actually a podiatrist who had invented this machine to help boys. And at the time it was not FDA approved. Now it is. And what it is
it promotes circulation, oxygenization of the blood. It's a big help. Like I said, gives them a boost. Is really what it does. Yeah, it's just a stimulating machine. It's not a pill or some sort of injection. I mean, it's just little sticky pads you put on them, and it just helps oxygenate the blood and just kind of gives them a boost. Really, I mean, it's a boost in morale, boost in energy. And but as he's gotten older, it's just kind of, I don't know, it seems more like it's not as, like there's no change, like it doesn't really give him the boost it used to. So yeah, he's just kind of on his own, just like I'd rather not do this. He's not getting the effects of it anymore. So, which just tells us it's just the progression is progressing. Further along. Of course, as he gets older, he's fixing to hit his teens. So, and that's when it's the onset is really obvious, extremely obvious. So
it's been it's been a little over a year now that we've been coming back to Grace, and it's been great. Braden goes to school here with Miss Melinda and Jenny for the Faith Homeschool Group, and that's been amazing. It has, with Braden, the very beginning, I don't think he quite understood God, and coming to church and then coming to see what is going on with him has really, really brought him closer, and to see some of his friends pass. He had a hard time there for a while when he did, and the one thing that we both told him was, if you can't talk to us, talk to God. And he did. And that made him a lot closer to God, and that he came to the decision himself that he wanted to be saved. That as a mother is amazing. So heartwarming to know that your child makes that decision on their own. So he made those steps, and he did. And it's been great. And then he was baptized. That was even a bigger blessing. I could not have asked for a bigger blessing. Now, I am so thankful for Grace, the family of Grace, and for our youth girls, our youth group girls, for the high school, for thinking of Braden and God laying this on their heart to want to help him. The dinner is going to be great. I really, really appreciate it, and you girls will never know how much it means to us and how much we love you for this.
Just want to say thank you girls that, like Denny said, wanted to help Braden out. We appreciate that, and that's mighty grown up of you. I also want to thank Miss Melinda and Jenny for doing what they do here, and giving these kids, and especially my son, a better shot at a better education. I love you to death for that. But we thank you for letting us share our story with you guys. Ask questions if you need to. Anything you're curious about, you can always walk up to me or Denny. Probably more Denny, she has more information than I do. So any questions, any comments, like I said, you can ask either one of us. Or ask Braden. It's no big deal. So again, we thank you.